man? How are you guys doing?
We're
Pretty
just
good.
chilling.
It's late now, but
What
we
time
gotta
is it
get
over
this
there?
done. I'm in Texas, so it's 12 or almost.
And I'm in
Yeah,
Portland,
Really?
so
almost
it's
12.
9:43, man.
Yeah. For me, it is. Let's see. Can't. Oh, 12:43. So almost one.
Damn. Well, we appreciate you
Ooh,
doing it this late,
dedication.
man.
I
Oh
like
no,
it.
definitely. I'm up for it.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
it's a lot of fun, honestly.
And you said
Definitely.
that you had work today and stuff, right?
Yeah, I work. I work at Red Robin. Not for very long though. Put
Mm,
my 2 weeks in.
Red
I'm about
Robin.
to
Oh, okay,
work at
you're
Texas.
leaving then.
Yeah, I'm working. I'm gonna work at Texas Roadhouse.
Okay,
Nice.
okay.
Yeah.
You get steak discounts?
Like 30%, I think is what it
Are you
is.
for real, dude? That's a lot.
That's honestly like not that much what I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be um
70%,
like 50
80%.
50%.
50%.
50 because like at Red Robin we get 50% here.
Damn. But like steaks are kind of expensive, right?
That is very true. That is very true.
So I mean, I don't eat steak, so I have no idea. But from what I've heard, they kind of go up to the 20s, right? The $20 range.
Yeah. Is it just because you don't like because honestly I'm not a very like big steak person, but
Mm,
like burgers and stuff like that, like beef, I'm not very much into that.
I was just kind of raised a vegetarian, so when I started
Oh
eating meat, it was just like chicken and stuff. It wasn't like red meat, and I
yeah.
don't think I never ever like really developed a taste for it because I've tried it. I just don't like it.
Oh, okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
see that. Yeah, honestly, it's just it really honestly I prefer like pork. I prefer like chicken,
Hmm.
goat, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know, man. I've never eaten meat. I just don't know at all.
Oh, you've never eaten meat at all?
Never, never.
Never see.
Born and raised vegetarian. Never really tried meat, and so like I don't really know what it tastes like, but I know it can get expensive with steaks.
Yeah, for sure.
Bro, and the
But
mental toughness it takes to say no to meat, bro. Haven't your friends been like trying to force you to try
Bro,
some?
the craziest thing, my best friend, like we would go out to eat, and then he would like be like, "Yo, you gotta try this," and I'm like, "Nah," and then he holds it up to my face, trying to like like make me eat it, and I'm like, I'm still like, "Nah," right? But that same friend, now he's vegetarian, and everyone's just asking him questions about why he's vegetarian and all of this shit, and I'm just like, okay, okay, so you, so this is how y'all are gonna change up on me, huh?
so are you guys
Crazy.
vegetarian for like religious reasons or just personal reasons?
For me, it's cultural and religious to an extent. Um, yeah, it's just about doing the least amount of harm, I guess.
Mm.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And for me, we kind of grew up the same way. It was a cultural and religious thing, but then now it's just I'm pretty sure all of my family eats like chicken and fish and stuff like that. I personally started eating it because I really started working out and I wasn't seeing the results to my to my vegetarian diet, so I decided to like stack up on some protein, start
Gotta
eating
get that
chicken.
protein.
So yeah, and then that's how it started. And then my brother started eating it, and then now my family is cool with it.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, let's get into the politics because that's what we're all here
Oh
for,
yes,
right?
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, let me count it down. Five, four, three, two, one. Oh, I just realized that we don't have an introduction ready, dude.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of
Okay.
waiting for you to take over, but
You're cool with your name on this, right? Or we could just bleep out your name.
Yeah, my name's fine.
You're cool? Okay. So
Yeah.
we have Justin over here, and we're just gonna ask him questions about BLM and I guess politics in general. See what his opinions are, and just go through them. We have a bunch of questions lined up. This is gonna be our second interview podcast, and let's just get right into it. Baby, you're up.
yes. So Justin, Don Lemon and Terry Crews, did a segment on Don Lemon's show, and they were talking about exactly what we're talking about right now. And Lemon said that Black Lives Matter is not a movement for all Black lives. It's just for the Black people killed by the police. And he proceeded to tell Cruz that, like, if he wants to talk about all Black lives, that he should create his own movement of quote unquote all Black Lives Matter or something if he wants to talk about all Black lives. What do you think about all that? Do you agree with the sentiment that the current Black Lives Matter movement isn't supposed to talk about all Black lives? And what is your understanding of the BLM movement?
I don't support that at all because honestly, in my opinion, I believe if you're going to have a movement that is for, Black lives,
Hmm.
and it's not like police Black Lives Matter. It's a name that is general. Black Lives Matter, and I think Black Lives Matter is a very um, clear name that it's for all Black Lives Matter. So first of all, they were getting mad that it was all lives matter,
Hmm.
and now that they're getting mad when we talk about the Black lives, but just Black life in a certain situation, which is just crazy. It just shows their like where they stand really.
Hmm.
And when it comes to Black Lives Matter, okay, this is I am I have a it's a complex issue for me because as a person who's personally dealt with problems when it's come to unfair, if you'd say, treatment from law enforcement, I know that there are things that needs to be changed in terms of the actual criminal justice system, but the numbers don't lie.
Right.
And the numbers when it comes to like the actual amount of people, black people, unarmed black people who aren't or who are not aggressing or not attacking the police officers. When you take a look at that, the numbers are definitely not what Black Lives Matter would claim, and the numbers are definitely not what the media would claim.
Right.
But I do still see the fact that we will, as black people, go through certain things. Like I got searched for no reason in my car, and they put me through like 7 months of the criminal justice system for some CBD, which everyone knows is legal, and it said CBD in there, but they still wanted to put me through that uh, thing, and so like through the court systems,
Oh, really?
because he kind of wanted to see like, okay, because one, I drive a modified car.
Mm.
Two, I had already stood up for myself. And so he was like, oh, let me search this guy's car, whatever. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so when it comes to stuff like that, not necessarily police brutality, but let's say discrimination, yeah, I can see that. But when it comes to like deaths and stuff like that, I don't support that. So I can support to some extent some of the things that the people who are saying the slogan Black Lives Matter, but where I separate it is the slogan Black Lives Matter versus the organization Black Lives Matter. And the
Right.
organization Black Lives Matter, I don't support at all
Hmm.
because they don't even, if that's just all politics. Because if you look at their website and it shows you what they believe, uh, actual stuff for like like it's not even really what everyone would think that it's supporting. And then when you look at where the donations are going, it's all going to different political campaigns and stuff like that.
Right. And I've
And
actually checked their website out, and don't they claim to be like a Marxist organization?
yeah, and I don't support Marxism
Yeah,
whatsoever
that's
at
just
all.
so far off the left field.
Yeah, and I kind of tend to do. I used to be really, really on one side, but now I am pretty much a centrist. Like I'm open to different ideas, but I lean, let's say, um, a good 80 to 90% on the right and the rest on the left. Because I can see the left on certain issues, but when it comes to Marxism,
Hmm.
nah, nah, not at all.
Yeah, there's really
Too
no
far left.
Not at
negotiation there, man.
all.
And if you're okay with sharing your experiences that you just highlighted with law enforcement, I'm genuinely curious and I want to know what happened at that time. So
That would be interesting to hear.
you got pulled over for speeding?
for no, not even. I wasn't even speeding, for a broken tail light.
Oh.
Or a brake light, I think is what it is. And I have always been told to stop where there is population, like don't stop in the middle of nowhere. And so I kind of waited till we got to the light and stopped. And he was already kind of mad that I did that. And so he's like, he asked me to search my car, and I've always been told to comply with the cops. So I thought that there was no problem. I mean, CBD is legal. And his story changed like twice, because first he said he wasn't concerned about the CBD, and then he picked up some random stuff from like the carpet of my floor. Like it could have been anything, it could have been grass, and then he said that was weed, and then ended up putting that thing that he said was weed in my hand and told me I could throw it away. And then he took the CBD. And so that put me through 7 months in the court system, going back every month pretty much. And, it was getting lab tested, and it didn't get resolved until March the 3rd of this year.
Oh, wow.
That happened in August of last year.
That's an awfully long time to see what substance that was that they were testing
Exactly.
for.
That's some bullshit.
Exactly. It was so stupid in my opinion. But hey, those are some of the things that I would say pretty much. But that's pretty much it. I haven't gone through some serious and I've never been shot by the police either. So the notion that they're just hunting, people have to realize that there's a difference between cops and law enforcement on a whole. There are bad cops, just like there will be bad people. There are racist cops, just like there will be racist people. You can't do anything for that.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on the way that the Black Lives Matter movement has changed, evolved over time?
Before, they weren't even talking about defunding the police. They weren't talking about that before, and now that they are. So I think, that's just how everything changes. Things change, really, especially in the political climate like it is today. Things are definitely going to change, and people are definitely going to change their views just to fit more with what their side is doing. And I'm so against sided politics when it's just sides.
So you think the gap between both the left and the right, red and blue, is going to get larger?
Oh, definitely. Definitely, because we're not having any conversations.
Right.
Nobody, especially a lot of people on the left, are not willing to have any type of conversation whatsoever. And it's sad, but that's the truth, honestly.
Diversity means diversity of thought as well.
Exactly. But that's the thing. They claim, a lot of people on the left, they claim, and I'm not saying all the people on the left, because I've had good conversations with some people on the left, but a lot of them just do not know how to have any type of conversation with anyone that they disagree. And it's unfortunate, but that's just what it is.
Yeah. And I never understood the premise that, oh, here's a guy who disagrees with what I think about this particular topic, and I'm not even gonna talk to him about it. And I'm actually gonna actively try and shut him down and get his account blocked. Stuff like that is just getting out of hand, don't you think?
Yeah. A lot of stuff, but honestly, I have a little thick skin, so I don't care what people really have to say, because my beliefs are going to be my beliefs regardless. How much they want to, a lot of people, they'll result, especially when you have facts on your side, they'll result to the name calling, or they'll result to name calling, they'll result to personal attacks. They'll go on your because I'm an entrepreneur, and they'll go on my page and then like make a comment about that, or like about my business, how it's never gonna amount to anything or whatever, or I'm chasing or whatever, like my dream is or whatever. Like they'll do that. And this happened this week. Like this stupid guy, he posted that, but I just stopped responding, honestly.
Yeah.
And that is how you win, because they just want attention. I think we're kind of straying off a topic a little, but yeah, that's pretty much how I deal with that.
Well, like you mentioned, their demands, the BLM demands started off with police reform, which I personally think we were all on board with. But then it became defund the police, and then it became abolish the police, and now it is expanded beyond the realm of just policing and has branched off into different facets of the system. Um, what are your thoughts on defunding the police or abolishing it? Do you think that will solve the problem?
Absolutely not at least not abolishing the police. I can kind of understand, like when I talk to people on the left, they say that a lot of these resources are going to places where police don't need to be, like, but still, that's the thing. If you pull funding for, let's say, police when they go traffic stops, like I don't see how that would technically, like, if we were to go with the assumption that Black people are getting killed by the police, I don't understand how places like traffic stop, non-violent places where police aren't necessarily needed, but they are today. I don't know how pulling funding from that would actually help any situation where it comes to like Black people.
Yeah, and shouldn't better training and more thorough routine,
Oh,
like psych
definitely.
evaluations, cost more money? Like, what's the point of taking money away from them when the whole point is to train them better?
Exactly. So yeah, I think they need definitely have psyche evaluations pretty much every month, just to make sure. And I think they need like longer training and training on how to de-escalate.
Absolutely.
Because that's, I think, a lot of the things that a lot of the cops don't know how to do is de-escalate the situation. Like, I could see even in my situation that I went through, had I not been mature enough, or had I not had like a dad that taught me how to deal with police, I probably wouldn't have known what to do, and I would have probably reacted emotionally, and I probably would have done something stupid and either lost my life or been in jail or something like that. So a lot has to deal with de-escalation. A lot of them have to deal with like, there's no reason, honestly, to stop people and search their car for no reason. I don't think that they should be able to do that. And I know that you can say no, but like, even to like the unexpected person, like the person who doesn't know any better, I think that like they should kind of mind their own business a little bit more. Because like, let's even come when it comes to like marijuana, like it's a pretty much a fact that marijuana is used in every community, kind of like across the board.
Yeah.
But it's kind of known all around the globe that it's mostly Black people who are incarcerated more for it. And so I can see like their grievances when it comes to that. But for defunding, like total defunding or abolishment, nah, I'm not for that. And that's the crazy thing that I think is wrong with what's like the whole Black Lives Matter movement, is the fact that, oh, if you're not with us fully, then you're against us fully. So if you aren't for like defunding the police, then you're like a racist, or you're for this or that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely, I do.
I mean, again, it's all about diversity of thought, right? Like, if you're not one of us, then who are you? Like, what kind of thinking is that? I'm who I am.
Exactly.
But yeah, so de Blasio, mayor of New York, he just got $1 billion from NYPD's total budget. That's a fifth of their entire budget. Do you think that's actually going to help decrease the police brutality?
Because like, first of all, look at how he's dealing with the coronavirus situation.
Horrible.
Look at how he's just mayoring and how he's like just doing everything. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's caving in. First of all, he can't even hold his own daughter from being in jail.
Right.
And now he wants to like cut funding from the police. Like, first of all, it's a city in the first place. Like, New York, it's a huge, like, there's obvious crime that goes there, and taking funding away from that, like, that is, I can't, bruh, come on, man.
So you think it's a terrible idea then?
Oh yeah, it's a terrible, terrible idea.
But do you think it will decrease the police brutality?
Decrease the police brutality? No, I don't think
like the
so.
numbers? No.
Oh, the numbers? Well, it depends. How would that affect? Like, how do you think that would affect that cut? Like, I think what they need to focus on is where they place these police more than like how they're spending, you know?
Right. Yeah, I don't think it's really an issue of like defunding the police as it is to making the police more efficient with the money that they have and putting it into the right places.
And kind of reallocate the budget and the resources.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a very sound argument, but by cutting $1 billion from their budget, they actually halted the whole recruiting process, and they stopped, like, I'm pretty sure I read 800 to 1,000 new recruits from joining the force. So I don't think it's going to where it's supposed to be going.
Wow, that's so crazy.
And it's such a huge city. I mean, I can't even fathom the consequences taking a fifth of their budget away from them.
Honestly, though, like, that's a lot of money, $1 billion to be just taken because of black. Like, you look at the actual numbers. I wonder what is the numbers of unarmed black people that have not instigated or assaulted anybody. I want to know what the numbers.
Like for the whole year?
Yeah, for like last year, the year before.
It was 9.
Because I know nationwide it was like 9.
Yeah.
It was 4 or something.
9. Yeah. It was 9.
But I think 4 was unprovoked.
Unprovoked, they were unarmed, and they weren't running away either. So that's 4.
Wow. Wow, that's so crazy.
It really is.
Like, that's why. Come on. Like, why doesn't the media, like, this is why I say I don't like the media, because the media doesn't show you this. And then when they talk about like the actual black lives that are lost, like Terry Crews was saying, then there's nothing, because they don't want it. It's a narrative. And if you look at Google Trends and look at Black Lives Matter, the spike, and go search it by 5 years, past 5 years, you'll see it was a spike in the summer of 2016 and the spike of 2020.
Yep.
All voting years. Like, come on. Like, the media knows how to play black people like a fiddle because black people are so emotional. And it's just, okay, this is getting a little deep. But
no, but you just think that they keep chasing that narrative that will give them the most headlines, but what they're actually doing is causing the general public to think that, you know, black people are being hunted down by the police.
And it's more of a voting, like, get out and vote type thing. Like,
so it's about the votes, right? It's about getting the blue into power.
Pretty much, yeah.
I was going to ask you about what we were just talking about, actually. How there's this argument that Black Lives Matter chooses to turn a blind eye towards black-on-black crime, which affects the black community significantly more than police brutality.
Yeah. It's honestly, like, I honestly don't know why they do that. But I mean, I guess they're trying to focus on, you know, the criminal justice, but then don't call it Black Lives Matter, because Black Lives Matter isn't all inclusive. Like, it's all inclusive. like all Black Lives Matter. That's an all-inclusive type thing.
Right.
So when you basically put an all-inclusive thing, then you qualify that all-inclusive thing, and so it's actually only for these things. And then when you bring it up, oh, you're a racist, or oh, go start it yourself. Yeah.
Oh, Justin, your sound is cutting out a little bit. It's going in and out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
A lot clearer, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was saying when you make something all-inclusive, like, you know, Black Lives Matter, then you basically qualify that thing and say, oh, it's only for these situations.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's just not good. Like, and then you say, oh, you're a racist if you don't support that, or oh, you're this, or oh, you're that. Like, it's just crazy, honestly.
I agree.
It's just fueling more of a race war.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think a message going something on the lines of "end police brutality" will be much better received by the general population?
Much better received.
And police brutality, right?
Much better received. Hmm?
I was just reiterating my point of if the message was "end police brutality," then it would be much better received. And I mean, it's none of us wants to see anyone get killed by a cop while being arrested or something like that. It doesn't matter what your race is. If you come up to me and tell me that a black man was killed by a cop while being arrested, I'll be just as much outraged if you tell me there's a white guy that got killed by the cops while he was being arrested. So
exactly.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's just how the media is now. It's like I can see sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
not all the times, when people talk about like white privilege, like let's say with Brock Turner versus like another, person, like another black person, but there's also black privilege. Like let's say Lamar Jackson, when he tweeted that or put on Instagram or put on his social media that dumb shit about like what Hitler said about Jews and black Americans. I mean, not black Americans, but blacks in general. Like that's just so like he got basically an easy pass, but had a white person say that, they would have been canceled so quick.
Right.
Had Peyton Manning or had Tom Brady said that, he would have gotten canceled so quick. But that's just the media. Like it's very it's just so hypocritical. It's so much hypocrisy in the media. It's so much hypocrisy in like today's politics. But that can be a topic for part 2, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of the BLM protests have turned into riots, and there were acts of arson, assault, and looting. Do you think the riots are justified?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Okay, why is that?
Because like looting, that hurts small businesses. I'm a business owner.
Right.
I can see how that hurts me, that hurts other people. Like I can't, and it's just so selfish because you're basically hijacking something that was meant for good, and you're making it about you by you taking shit. Like this is the cognitive dissonance. I see a lot of people, they'll post, oh, black businesses to support. And then earlier, they saw those same black businesses being torched or being looted. And it's like,
right.
Like y'all really have some willful ignorance or hypocrisy or both.
Mm-hmm. I saw this video of a couple of people running out of a Nike store with sneakers, and my first thought was, what does this have to do with police brutality? Like, you guys just got a bunch of sneakers.
It has nothing.
Out of
It's
Nike.
just, it's again, emotional. Those are all emotions. It's emotion that's just running through, and it's emotion that's undirected and it's unguided, and that's so dangerous because that's like, as I said, black people have been played like a fiddle, and it's like it's so easy to do. It is so easy to do because obviously they want our vote, so they just have to do this every what 4
Yep.
years for us to get out and vote, and we don't see that. I mean, we as a community, I see that,
Yeah.
but like we as a community don't see that,
Yeah.
and that's crazy.
And it's a tough subject, man. And we're both glad that you're here right now talking to us about this. And how about I ask you one last question and we can wrap up part one?
Bet.
All right. What are your thoughts on the rioters tearing down statues of our founding fathers, like Jefferson and Washington, and even Lincoln and other
I don't even
abolitionists?
get why they would. I don't even like that. Makes zero sense. Why they would?
Oh man.
Why they would tear down statues of like an literally Frederick Douglass, who was he was, first of all, he's black. First of all, second of all, like he was an abolitionist. Like, but that like I if somebody can explain to me why they would do you guys know any of the reasons why they would do that? Because that makes no sense.
I have no idea
Rage. That's the only thing I can think of. It's just people doing something and everyone joins in because everyone's doing something, and then you just tear something down that meant something.
Right. I have no idea why they tore down Frederick Douglass's statue, but their kind of reasoning behind Jefferson and Washington was that, like, okay, yeah,
They owned slaves or whatever.
they owned slaves at one point.
Okay, I think about it like this. I separate things. Yes, they may have owned slaves, but they basically set the foundation for me to even be in this home where I call America.
Right.
And that was because they stood up to classism in the Great Britain. They stood up to like basically being treated as less than, and being forced to pay insane taxes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I support them for that. Like, yes, we all know that they weren't perfect. They were not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't support tearing down their statues. That is historical stuff.
Yeah.
And like people are even trying to cancel like Mount Rushmore when like Obama did a photo op there like 8 years ago or whatever in his term, whatever. Now, when it comes to Confederate flags, I feel a little bit differently on that. I think that they should be taken down, but not by them. I think it should be taken down, put in a museum, stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
And not even for the fact that it's necessarily racist, but for the fact that they're traitors to America.
Yeah, exactly.
They literally, that was for like the Confederate flag, the Confederates, that was only like 4 years of American history.
Mm-hmm.
It was a deadly 4 years, yeah, but like I don't know why we'd be paying homage to not only
just 4 years,
4 years, but 4 years of traitors, like literally traitors to America, people who seceded from the United States of America. So that's just my opinion on that.
Yeah, I also think that those statues and the flag belong in a museum. But people can't just show up and tear stuff down that they don't like. We live in a democracy. We vote on stuff, and then that's how we make it happen. You know what I mean?
Well, the statues are already down.
Well, yeah, they're tearing the statues down because they don't like them. Instead of I don't know, like vote on it, because we live in a civilized society, and then we also live in a democracy.
Exactly. You don't just like mob rule is never the good thing.
Never the answer.
Because mob rule was what happened in Germany in the 1940s.
Exactly.
Right.
Like, do you really want to go there? Because I could go there with about how like mob rule was how Iran turned into Iran, basically how we know it. I think it was 1979. Before then, they were like Western almost. But then the mob basically brought out and took out the king or the Shah or whatever, and then brought forth this new Ayatollah or whatever, and the religious law. And basically, they are the Iran that we know today. So the mob has never really, I mean, the mob has been good for some things, but it is not the end all be all.
Absolutely.
And it should definitely, yeah, man. Because a lot of people will be silent on issues like that. Right. And they won't necessarily be a part of the mob. That's why we call them the silent majority.
The public can be highly misguided, and they are most of the time.
Definitely. But yeah, man, I love this podcast. We'll definitely do a part 2. I know it's getting a little late here, but I enjoyed it.
Absolutely, man.
Thank you for taking the time to come here, to be open and talk freely with us, because that's literally what our mission is. The ability to have a good conversation and to support free speech so we can discuss ideas like this freely. And that's really the bridging the gap that needs to be done between the left and the right, and how this country has gotten so divided. We need to be able to bridge that gap through this free speech, and you're a big part of that now.
Thank you so much, bro. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
enjoyed it, and I enjoy having a platform like this where I can speak my thoughts, because especially these days, everything is so emotionally charged and everything is so just divisive and polarized that it's hard to even, speak about certain things like this. Like, if I was to post on my Instagram that I don't necessarily support, or I don't support at all, the Black Lives Matter organization, bro,
Right.
I would get canceled so quick. But
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. Thank you for coming on, and I guess we'll record the next one whenever you're free and go from there.
Definitely. Thank you, bro.
For sure.
All right,
For
man.
sure. Yeah. Thank
Thanks
you.
for being on.
Definitely.
All right, man.
Enjoyed
Have a
it.
good night. It's late, so get a good night's rest. Gotta get back to work.
Definitely.
So,
Thank you, bro.
all right.
All
Good
right,
night.
catch you later.